Hi, I'm Joey from J&J Fantasy Flyers.
And I'm Jason, and we're helping you soar above the competition.
Soar above the competition. Welcome back here this week. It's the first week in the NFL where we actually got some buys and maybe some tough questions, especially in the quarterback position, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So basically, we got the Falcons, Broncos, Saints, and Redskins all on buys this week. So
Definitely. A lot of talent in them pools. And
get those guys out your lineup.
And stay tuned and check out our sleepers on our website. I know that we've been pretty spot on over the first 4 weeks.
Our sleepers have been hitting pretty good.
I mean, we've had some duds, but I mean, to be honest with you, like last week, I know we had Alvin Kamara, and a couple guys, Tyler Croft on there as well. I mean, they could have definitely produced for you, and especially this week, there's some leagues to where you're gonna miss 3 or 4 guys.
Yeah, I mean, you got the buys this week, but not to mention all of the injuries that wouldn't happen this week too, especially the running back position, man. I mean, there's that waiver wires. There's lots of guys.
Yeah, Aaron Jones, I know, is one of our favorites to pick up.
Yeah.
I know you got a guy you're going to talk about a little bit later that's one of your favorites. You got him in every league. And also you stole one of mine, but we'll get into that later as well. But yeah, so I want to kind of start off this episode, with our Week 5 as to guys that maybe we might have missed on in our pre-draft special that we were expecting big things from, and now there are really question marks of whether or not you could start them in the lineup. I know, I'm going to bring this to you because, you stood on the table with your bold prediction, but Jay Ajayi, I mean, is he worth a start? Or do you guys see more from him?
Yeah, no, I mean, you can't bench him just really based on his draft price, right, at this point. And, I mean, everything I see with the Jay Ajayi really isn't his fault. I mean, I don't see him, not running as hard. I don't see him, just not looking the same. I mean, his knee looks fine, which has been a concern the past couple weeks.
Yeah, I noticed, kind of getting worried about maybe his time and maybe not getting as many touches, down the stretch, right?
They did pull him on third downs, and I mean, you saw him on the sidelines. He was frustrated during the game, which that could be a concern for his overall production. But I just think they're helping him take it easy, let that knee stay fresh. The real problem is the offensive line there, and I mean, until they get that figured out, he's not going to be that, he's not going to be as what you wanted, but he's still going to be okay. I believe they will figure it out, and he'll be okay. And
Adam Gase kind of gave him the ultimatum this week.
Yeah.
There's no more excuses. They need to. It's put up or shut up time.
I mean, they're not going to be that bad. This offense is still trying to get together. I mean, not to mention, the first week their game got canceled. Then they had to travel to L.A., New York, London.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys have been on the road, traveling all over the world. So that's not easy to do in the NFL. They come back home this week. I think it's definitely a good week for them to.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this: with the Ajayi going forward for the rest of the year, is that a guy you're going to hang on to, or if you get a decent trade offer, would you consider pulling the trigger?
No, because I don't think you're going to get the guy you want for him right now. I mean, his value's too low.
So what? I don't want to put you on the spot here, but what guy would you let Ajayi go for? I mean, if any.
I mean, if you could get.
Let's say I offered you Leonard Fournette. Would you pull the trigger on that one?
I mean, that's really tough to say. I mean, I probably wouldn't, based on Ajayi's upside. I think is more, but I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, I probably couldn't get someone like Gurley, but that'd be definitely someone I would probably consider, or even a Melvin Gordon. I think Gordon and Ajayi are pretty similar, but even Gordon's been scaring me the past couple weeks with his production.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I think Leonard Fournette's right there, man. I think that's a personal preference. I think Ajayi's upside is higher, but I think you've seen from the first 4 weeks, Fournette's got a pretty safe floor.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the best thing with Fournette here going forward. Let's transition to another, a bust so far, which I know I was pretty high on, you as well. We talked a lot about him in the offseason, and that's Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, it's tough to watch him play.
It is, man. And, the drops are... I mean, their drops are his fault, but he's always had that issue. They come and go, man. He gets them, then he gets rid of them, and
he's not getting the targets though to cover the drops.
He's not getting the targets, and I think that's really not his fault. I mean, that offensive line hasn't been good. Derek Carr hasn't been pushing the ball down the field like he has been in the past years, And I mean, I think that's all going to figure itself out. He is still going to have the drops issues. That's not going to fix anything.
I mean, EJ Manuel coming in, Derek Carr's going to be out sometime.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I have Amari Cooper, and I'm really, really ready to just trade him. If I could get, I'm not going to just sell low. I'm not just going to take the first offer that comes by, but I would like to get out of my Amari Cooper commitment.
I mean, if you can get somebody to buy his upside, I think you'd be okay.
And I think in Dynasty League, if you're playing with a guy who might be a little bit frustrated with Amari Cooper, I think he's a good buy low candidate. I know you have him in our Dynasty, and you've been fielding some offers from him. A lot of people trying to buy low because the upside is so high.
Yeah, and I'm just not selling right at this point.
No, it makes sense. I mean, you definitely, like, if we touch anything, is you want to buy low, sell high. It's tough to sell a guy at his bottom value, but sometimes you just get frustrated.
Especially after 4 weeks. I mean, we said it after week 1, we said it after week 2, after week. You're going to say it every week until you get, probably half the season. Once half the season's in, then you can really start to see some real trends. And some of these guys just have huge half seasons.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, that's just the way they're. I mean, look at Doug Baldwin.
It just sucks that you paid so much, a high draft pick to get these guys, and the fact that they're not producing, and they could put you in a hole real quick. And who knows, you might not be able to hang on. I mean, God forbid you took a Jaheim Cooper, maybe, you got them both in the same league. I mean, that's a possibility.
Absolutely.
And I mean, and then maybe, deeper down in your drafts, I know there's 2 guys that I think we're going to agree on that we are maybe not selling, but they're going to have a permanent spot on our bench until they prove something to us, and that's Isaiah Crowell and DeMarco Murray.
Yeah.
I think if we would have been, if we could go back, 4 or 5 weeks and say, hey, this is what Crowell and DeMarco are going to do, we're going to say, yeah, okay, lay off the pipe.
Yeah, and I mean, Crowell hasn't been getting the workload, but
Duke Johnson he's taking the
He
job.
really hasn't. I mean, it's partially probably because he hasn't done anything with what work he's gotten.
Let me ask you this: if I were to come at you for a Isaiah Crowell trade, and I said, "Hey, Jason, I have Eddie Lacy," would you do that deal?
Probably not. Yeah, it's just Eddie Lacy just doesn't do anything.
What about LeGarrette Blount?
I mean,
to me, I have Crowell in one league, and he's worth nothing to me. He's really worth nothing. He's one of those guys to where I feel as if you can't drop because of where you drafted him. But
yeah.
eventually, it's going to be time to cut the cord.
I mean, I think if you need to drop him, you can. I wouldn't drop him quite yet. There is still the possibility that he turns it around and he could, still salvage the season. And I think for that reason, I'm probably going to just hang on to him. I'm not going to trade him. I might even try buying him if you can buy him real low. But in most circumstances,
He's got to get in the end zone. I mean, come on.
he does. And, it's the Browns. That's part of buying into the Browns' offense. It's not that good.
And that offensive line, I don't think is as good as we thought that they were going to be either.
No, I mean, it's a work in progress. I mean, they're making the right steps, but it's...
We'll see. And even DeMarco Murray, I mean, he's got a good matchup here against Miami this week.
Yeah.
A little bit of hamstring injuries, so I would definitely hold on to DeMarco Murray. Want to get rid of him. If somebody offered you a decent trade, I'd say you jump on it and go that way. But I still, where you drafted him, most likely, end of the first, early second, you gotta hold on to that guy. I mean, it sucks and it's tough to be in that position. But who really are you going to get that has the upside that DeMarco is going to have?
Yeah, I mean, really, hopefully, if you took Murray, you got his handcuff and Henry too.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been doing a whole lot, but if Murray goes down or if they do make the switch over, you do have the handcuff. It's been painful, man, and that's why you get the running backs and you stack up.
That's why you
try to
draft
get the depth.
Absolutely.
Because it's such a volatile position.
Mhm.
I mean, people are just in and out and up years, down years. It's tough.
Yeah, but hey, you got to get depth. That's what we can tell you. That's why I'm a big fan of not going 2 running back leagues and having to start 2 running backs because, I mean, that's the position that gets hit the most. I mean, but hey, you got to jump on Tariq Cohen. You got to jump on them guys that get the opportunities, the Buck Allens, the Alex Collins, the Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
You got to make them moves. You have to be active on the waiver wire.
Can't wait until they put a few good weeks together because then you're too late.
Yep.
You got to beat the rush.
Get ahead of the trend.
Yeah, see it coming, and that's hopefully what we try to do with our our weekly rankings we go through and we talk about some of the guys lower down on our list. I mean, not even
And our sleeper specials as well. It's
sleepers
real
are
simple. You guys go right to our website, jnjfantasyflyers.com. Check out our sleeper edition. I know on Facebook we post it every Sunday. It's called our Sunday Sleepers. You go on there, you can see, and even if you don't want to play them this week, get them before the next guy does. Grab them a week early. And I know something that you were talking about earlier that kind of grinded, your gear, so to speak, was the fact that people are leaving bench spots open on their team.
Yeah, it's
You just shouldn't. This shouldn't happen.
Shouldn't be. There's somebody worth putting in that spot.
Absolutely, grab another kicker. Somebody just if he's.
I would do that, but
I got 3 on one week. So, but just do something.
Either way,
Have
yeah.
somebody on your
Yes.
team.
Yes.
And who knows? Because you never know. Injuries could happen, and you don't want to be late on the trend. Don't be the guy that just drafts and plays the same lineup every week. You need to adapt to the league, and
Yeah.
you have to do it. That's the key to winning any championship. Any fantasy football expert is going to tell you that. And if you don't do it, you better hope you're the best drafter ever. Because,
Yeah.
nobody's predicting, a lot of this stuff and going forward. But like I said, check us out on our website, jnjfantasyflyers.com. Also, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube page. You'll get notifications to when our new stuff, posts. You go ahead and watch our video. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter as well. A lot of good stuff. I know we're getting a lot of questions asking who should we play, who should we not. I know last week somebody asked us Julio Jones or AJ Green. And to be honest with you, I don't see how you don't play both of them. But
Yeah.
if it wasn't for Julio getting hurt, and that's obviously his bugaboo, and he would have had a good week as well. So
Yeah. That's.
So, speaking of good weeks, I'm going to dive right into my favorite play of week 5. And that's at the quarterback position. It's one guy that I've been excited about. I'm circling the matchup, and it goes against everything that I believe in. And that's not playing a guy on Thursday night. But
Oh boy.
Jameis Winston going up against the New England Patriots secondary, which is 32nd against the pass, giving up 31.5 points per game to opposing quarterbacks. Jameis Winston is going to air it early. Is going to air it often, and it would not shock me if Jameis Winston and Mike Evans finished number 1 at the position after week 1 on Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, that Patriots defense has been horrible.
Oh, it's an.
Well, I mean, are you worried that this is going to be the week they figure it out?
I'm not.
Because they're going to figure it out. I mean,
I don't know, man.
It's not going to be as bad. I'm not going to say they're going to come back and be a top 10 defense, but it's not going to be as bad as it's been. It's going to be functional. It's going to be able to stop the offense.
But on a short week going against Tampa, Tampa kind of got steamrolled. It's just I don't know, man. I just think with Mike Evans, they don't have the guy that can shut him down. And Winston's about as safe as it go, but I would say right now that I think Winston and Brady are easily the best game for quarterbacks. Tampa Bay's defense isn't that great either. I can see it. It's going to be a shootout. There's going to be a lot of points scored. Obviously, if you have Brady, you're starting him. If you have Winston, you might have a better option. But with quarterbacks on the bye and a lot of good quarterbacks on the bye this week, Jameis Winston sneaks into our top 3. That's all that I can really tell you. As well, I know you were maybe a little bit lower on him than I was. Talked you into put him in the number 3 ranking. But still, I know we don't like Thursday night games, but I think there's a lot of points that be had in this one.
Yeah, no, I get the ranking. Wasn't arguing the point. I'm just
Pump the brakes a little bit.
just playing devil's advocate.
I hear you.
You know.
But who do you like inside the top 10, Jay? Here going forward this week, you think he has a pretty good matchup?
Yeah, I got Dak Prescott, and it's really, he's the number 6 quarterback coming into this week, and he's been solid. He's been doing what he did last year, picking up wherever he left off. That offense is going to continue to run through Zeke, which just leaves the rest of the game open for Dak to continue to just be efficient and don't lose the game for him.
I think he gets a little bit of an easier defense here. I know Dallas is.
Yeah,
They
they're
got
playing
some-
the Green Bay.
Yeah.
So it's definitely gonna the Green Bay can be thrown on,
Absolutely.
and not to mention the Green Bay offense. It's gonna be putting up 30, 40 points themselves. So they could get into a type of he's gonna have to go back and throw the ball and just to stay in the game. So
Yeah, no, I definitely understand, and I think Dak and Zeke do have a good game. I think this is the week that Des Bryant breaks out too. I can see Dez having a real good game. He's not facing the tough cornerback matchups that
and I mean,
he has been.
I think this is what Dez is going to be also. He's not going to be that week-to-week start, number one wide receiver. He's going to have big weeks, and he's going to have weeks where he doesn't get the ball.
Yep.
And
He's on that Travis Kelce roller coaster.
it just is what it is when you got a quarterback that doesn't focus in on you.
Yeah, no,
Like
absolutely.
Romo did.
And no, I definitely understand. And the youth at the quarterback position is really something to kind of marvel at. I mean, with Jared Goff and all them guys, and that's going to lead me right into my next guy, and that's Deshaun Watson.
Really,
I mean,
yeah.
how can we not talk about Deshaun Watson? I mean, how can we not? Since he took over, man, he is the third-ranked quarterback in fantasy football.
Dude, he's been lighting it up.
And
It's been fun to watch.
it really has. I mean, he's energetic. He's some guy that you just gotta love. You gotta root for him.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's garbage time. These are actual points. I mean, they blew up Tennessee.
In New England, I mean, they had that game won.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, they are. I think this is Deshaun Watson's first real test.
Yes.
I'm a little nervous about him maybe going into this week against Kansas City. They are 10th against quarterbacks. But I think where Deshaun Watson separates himself from a lot of teams, I think is what's going to give Kansas City the biggest problem is his ability to run the ball. And, he can pull it down and go with it.
Yeah.
And I think he can do enough. I think he rejuvenated that Houston offense. Lamar Miller took a huge uptick. DeAndre Hopkins arguably could be a top 3 wide receiver the rest of the year. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to like what's going on in Houston. And not fantasy, I think Houston's, a playoff contender. But I think they walk with the division, to be honest with you. And it's all because of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, and the thing I like to see with Watson is, the volume is there. It's not all like Mariota his rookie year. He's not being super efficient.
Yeah.
He's still making the rookie mistakes and putting up these monster numbers. It's not like it's not like a flash in the pan. I mean, this is definitely something that could be sustainable. Maybe not to this magnitude, but definitely going forward, it should be something you could count on.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I definitely understand where you're coming from with that as well. I mean, I can honestly tell you that with Deshaun Watson, I believe he's got, over his first 3 games, he has the highest completion percentage out of rookie quarterbacks over the past 10 seasons. So, I mean, it's not like it's just a lot of attempts. He's doing, a lot with every one of his passes. They're right on the money. I mean, they're right there, and he's only going to get better and better and better. So it's definitely somebody I am excited about. I think he's in our top 10. We got him ranked 8th. I'm a little nervous with Kansas City Chiefs coming into town and all of that, but I think that he's well deserving of the 8th spot. I would play him over guys like Cam Newton, Carson Palmer, Phillip Rivers all day long. I'd even play him against his counterpart Alex Smith.
Yeah, you play him over Alex Smith?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I'm not a huge fan of Kansas City's defense. I mean, Kirk Cousins put up some points. There's points to be had against that defense.
Yeah, there is. There definitely is.
But and I also, to be honest with you, sneaky play. I like Ryan Griffin this week too. His tight end. I think he's going to get a little bit more involved. But another sneaky play, and kind of to go back to our first point when we first opened the show, of guys that kind of disappointed and we're kind of nervous about. I know I dropped in a couple leagues. Is your next quarterback you like to talk about, right?
Yeah, Andy Dalton.
I mean, he really kind of. That was kind of funny. Sunday morning when I got home, right before the games, I looked at my dad. I was like, "Hey, how's your matchups? Yada yada." He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna play Andy Dalton over Cam Newton." I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, my team's garbage, man. I'm gonna hope for the best. I'm just gonna throw in Andy Dalton." I was like, "Really?" Cam Newton's going up against New England, yada yada. He goes, "I'm so sick of Cam Newton playing Andy Dalton." I was like, "All right, man. Hey, do what you gotta do." And then he blows up.
He would have been good with either one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really.
Nothing going wrong. So,
But yeah, I mean, he did. He put up a real bad game week 1. Week 2 wasn't as horrible. He didn't get the touchdowns, and the last 2 weeks really been better. Especially last week, it really kind of put it all together.
well, now that they got and I'm gonna kind of try and patent this here, but now it's the laser show, right?
This is true. Yes. Yeah. No. They did. They got the new offensive coordinator, Laser, and he's changing up and just fitting him good. He's getting the ball where it needs to go. The offense is, starting to mesh together. Like I said from the beginning, don't overreact over a couple weeks. He's going to be fine. He's playing Buffalo this week, which they do have a very good defense, but I don't think they have the pieces to stop, guys like AJ Green.
I think Joe Mixon gets involved heavily too. I love Joe Mixon, but I think Andy Dalton's a sneaky play. He's definitely somebody who should be rostered in every league.
Yes.
I mean, unless you're in an 8-team league, I mean, Andy Dalton needs to be on your roster. And I mean, he's ranked at 14, which means in a 12-team league, you're not starting him. Especially in a week to where there's so many quarterbacks on a bye. If for some reason Andy Dalton is on waivers, go grab him, start him. I think we're both confident in that as well.
Absolutely.
Another guy that I don't have confidence starting anymore, I really don't, and it sucks, Jay Cutler. Man, smoking Jay Cutler makes me want to smoke. I've never touched a cigarette a day in my life. It's like, you gotta be kidding me.
Did you see that Wildcat play? Where he's just standing there with his hands on his hips?
Yeah, I actually got that written down when I talk about Jay Cutler. No Wildcat. They're not going to
really?
do that this week.
Oh my goodness.
It's just, to be honest with you guys, it's a pure gut call. I've said it the past 3 weeks because, to be honest with you, Miami's offense should not be this bad.
It shouldn't. And he had a good first week.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, he's throwing off his back foot. I'm no quarterback guru. I don't know mechanics. I couldn't tell you the first thing about anything to do with how to throw the ball, but I know that's not it. I mean, that's the case. I mean, I can tell you Tennessee's 31st against the pass.
Yes.
I mean, they got blown up by Deshaun Watson. Cutler's a veteran. They need to figure it out. If you're down this low and you're just living on a prayer, I can see Jay Cutler. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not playing him in daily, and I'm going to avoid him as much as I can. But there is one league where I had Mariota and Cutler, and there's nobody on the waiver wire. I like Cutler a little bit more than picking up a rookie or an E.J. Manuel, Trubisky, Joe Flacco, guys like that. I think I would even start Cutler over maybe Brian Hoyer. It's just, man, he's let me down. I mean, he 6 points last week, man.
Yeah, it's
against
tough.
the Saints.
It's tough. It might be a good daily play too, for sure. But
just don't do like $10 league. Just do $1.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm done with Jay Cutler. I don't even want to talk about it.
I guess jumping back on the rookie or young quarterback train here, my guy I'm going to talk about is Jared Goff.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of tough to say that Goff's ranked this low. I mean,
it is. It's
but
tough to say.
This is his big first test, right? Really, when it comes to defenses.
Yeah, this will be. I mean, the first real big test. But I mean, he's the number 10 quarterback. This offense, I believe, is the number 1 scoring offense in the league so far this year. I mean, he's averaging over 250 yards a game and 2 touchdowns. And I mean, he's got a tough matchup, but he needs to be owned. And if you do own him, you probably don't need to start him. So maybe you don't start him this week. But if you need to start him, I think you just put him out there and you start him and you feel okay about it.
Yeah,
I don't think you need to worry that much.
Let's say you had Matt Ryan, Trevor Siemian.
Yeah,
I mean, that's possible. Or Cousins and Siemian, or something along those lines.
I mean, I would not worry too much. I mean, he's gonna go out. He's gonna do fine. This whole offense for the Rams has just been on fire. I mean, it's crazy. And I think going forward, I think he can be considered probably a top 12 quarterback the rest of the year.
Yeah. I mean, I like Jared Goff. I know you've been calling him my Jake Locker, but
yeah.
I got him in my dynasty league. I know I've been fielding a lot of offers for him as well. And they asked me like who would you give Goff away for, and my answer is I don't know, man. Really nobody. I mean, you could offer me a top 20 wide receiver, and there's a good chance if it's not big name, I'm gonna turn it down. I mean, I think Goff and McVay, who knows, man? They could be the next, Shula and Marino.
Yeah, just throw the ball to Sammy Watkins, though, would you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it's kind of nice, man. He spreads it around and all that, and that's actually gonna, transition right into my next guy, which is the running back position. But that's Todd Gurley. I mean, I think Jared Goff's value and Todd Gurley's value are handcuffed.
Well, I mean, Gurley is their leading receiver.
Yep.
In yards and receptions.
What I really like about Todd Gurley that I've really seen is he is getting the catches. He's the only guy. He's a workhorse back. There's nobody else there. Let's be honest. And Gurley's got this swagger attitude about him. And we called out Michael Irvin on stage at Thursday Night Football. He said that they're going to whoop up on the Cowboys, and he delivered. And I think that's contagious. I think they're going to start getting even more cocky and going forward. And I think that's what you need to go up against that Seattle Seahawks defense. I'm tempering expectations maybe just a little bit, and they do have a tough stretch coming up of talent. I think right now is a great time to trade Todd Gurley, if that's what you're thinking. Maybe you're stacked. Maybe you have, if there's one guy in one of our leagues, Andy has Kareem Hunt, LaShawn McCoy, and Todd Gurley, and can only start 2 running backs. I could see you ditching Gurley now for a top 10 wide receiver. I mean, I wouldn't argue against it, but if you're gonna do something like that, do it this week.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, as good as he's been, I think this might be the height of his season.
Yeah, I mean,
not that he's gonna fall off a cliff.
No, but I think he's going to. I think when the season's over, I think he's a lock for the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
But come over the next 6 weeks, I can see his scoring going down to maybe more about 12 points per game.
Yeah, he might make you upset a couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, but who knows? I mean, right now Todd Gurley's in your lineup. You don't think about it. You just hit the submit button with him in it, whoever they're playing.
Yeah.
He's a must start in every format, in every league, and you're loving it. I mean, if you grab Todd Gurley in the 3rd round, it's an absolute steal, and you gotta play him. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and I mean, I was gonna talk about Jay Ajayi, but since we already talked about him, I mean, I really don't think there's much to say. So I guess I'm just gonna actually just jump out here on our rankings, and I think I'll choose Lamar Miller. Since everyone else, I mean Lamar Miller pretty much, because really he's got 2 stories to this season.
Yeah, absolutely.
The first 2 games, it's pre Deshaun Watson
Mm-hmm.
and post Deshaun Watson, and let's just say post Deshaun Watson is what we want. It's good for the offense. The running quarterback is always better for a running back, and that's just proved to be true in this instance.
Look at Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be good. He's going to stay good. He's going to be in lineups. I mean, barring some sort of injury, I think he's came back to life, and he's, put any doubters questioning if he should be the starter, questioning the Deontay Foreman should be in there, and I think all that's out the door for now.
I think he's going to take a little bit of a step up, PPR-wise. I think he's going to get more catches. I think a little bit more checkdowns are going to come from Watson as well. I mean, I'm really kind of bullish on Lamar Miller here going forward, maybe more than I was in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
But I kind of like where he's going, I like where he's trending. And I think that's another maybe buy low candidate, right? I think that, he's still kind of
if you still can, you can probably still buy.
You're getting right on the cusp to where you can and cannot buy low on Lamar Miller.
Yeah.
But I like that. I mean, I definitely say. Jay, I do got to ask you, though. I mean, Jay Ajayi's ranked 4th on our rankings. Are we worried about the offensive line at all this week? I mean, if let's just say you have maybe Ajayi and Fournette, or Ajayi and Lamar Miller. I mean, and you had to play one of them. Is it okay to sit Ajayi? I mean,
if you're talking about a Fournette or Miller, then I think it's okay. Until you see something from him, but I think this is such a juicy matchup for Ajayi too, that Tennessee defense just cannot stop anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I like Ajayi too, and we both obviously do. That's why he's so high on our rankings. But man, I mean, as a Dolphins fan, and for both of us, we're both Fins fans.
It depends. I mean, I guess it depends on your team makeup too, man. If you just need a guy to get you your points, then that's fine. Put in your Fournette or Miller. If you want,
they have safer floors. I think we'll both agree.
Yes, and Ajayi, he could put up another 200-yard rushing game.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's just tough to know with that Miami offense. I mean, they look real bad. But let's move on from that because it's depressing me.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go with another guy. Actually, let's go with your guy because I know that you've been waiting to talk about this guy for 3-4 weeks. He was your must-have in every draft.
Every league I got him except one. Someone sniped me, man.
Swooped right in. Mark Irway, Jeff.
Yeah.
Swooper. Don't forget Irway. I remember that.
Yeah, but it's another Thursday, which it's Doug Martin, the running back for the Bucks. But just in case you didn't know.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And basically, I want to make sure I say this is I am not sure about his volume going into this week. He's even come out and said that himself. I don't think I would play him this week, but I want him on my team because, I mean, unless you're shooting for that high upside, then throw him in because he could come in get some touches, be out of shape, not be in sync with the offense. Or he could come in and just pick right up where he left off and run away with the running back position and run for 120 yards and a touchdown. Who knows? And that's kind of why I'm benching him, because there is so much
Uncertainty.
yes, uncertainty. And if you got him, chances are you don't need him right now this week. If you do, then maybe you do have to play him. If you got some of the injury bug and you got some guys on bye.
Some bye week, maybe Devontae Freeman, C.J. Anderson, you have to put them in your lineup.
Yeah, and then maybe you got even Ty Montgomery too, who's injured. Or,
Yeah.
You know, there's so many scenarios where this could be your guy. And put him in, I think you should still feel safe. I mean, I think he could probably still get you 50, 60 yards, maybe, you know, 1 or 2 catches, and maybe he does pop one into the end zone, you know, but...
I would say if he does have a clunker this week, don't be like,
yeah, absolutely,
you know,
absolutely not. And I'm pretty sure last year he came back from injury after a couple games, and he blew it up his first week.
Yeah.
I mean, it just came right out the gate and just blew it up. And, I mean, I got him as a top 5 running back going forward the rest of the season. I've been saying it all off season, all preseason, everything. When he comes back, he's a top 5 guy. He's been out of control in preseason and training camp. He's looked like the old Doug Martin, and just get him if you can still trade for him. Make a low ball, don't low ball offer.
But now's the week
Try
to
to buy a low on him still, yes, if you can. And, you know, get him on your team, man, and be happy, because I think he's gonna help you win. He could be a championship winner.
Yeah, he's one of them waiver wire pickups that you needed to draft, but if you spent the draft pick and you rolled the dice, he could definitely pan out. I agree with you on that one. Another guy that you drafted and he didn't pan out at all. That's Eddie Lacy. I mean, that's where I'm going with this one. Kind of another gut call. I mean, we were all on the Chris Carson bandwagon. He won the job. It's his thing. I've never been a big fan of Thomas Rawls. Really not a big Eddie Lacy fan, to be honest with you. But the matchup doesn't get better. The Rams are the worst against the rush. This year they're 32nd. I think Eddie Lacy's going to get the goal line work. I think they need to take the ball out of Russell Wilson's hand when it gets close to the goal line. And I can see Lacy getting, a better shot at getting in the end zone. If you're down this low, I mean, Eddie Lacy for us is ranked 27th. I like him over Rawls. Rawls, was on the bench or didn't even dress last week. I mean, that's basically all that I can tell you. I feel as if the one guy to own in Seattle's backfield right now is going to be Eddie Lacy, but I'm sure you're going to disagree.
Who was that?
Eddie Lacy.
You sure?
Positive, because I know you're going to disagree, and this guy that you love, and
yeah, I mean, it's this guy who I put waivers in everywhere this week. It's really, I mean, it's partially because I like him the best. It's all the partially because he's the cheapest, and it's DJ McKissick, and he's been explosive even before coming into last week. Coaches have seen him, asking who he is. He's fast. He's got the big play potential. And at the man, you said Rawls was a healthy scratch last week. Lacy was a healthy scratch the week before that. Neither one of these guys have impressed yet this year. McKissick came in. I think he got 4 carries for 30-some yards last week after Carson went down. We know that Pete Carroll will give the opportunity to a no-name running back, undrafted running back. I mean, he's done it every single year. Rawls took over, and that, I mean, it's kind of his thing. Yeah. So he's going to give him the opportunity if he's earned it, and I think he's earned it, and I think he can take the job and he can run away with it. And you can get him on your team now before it's too late. And next week, he's going to be the huge waiver claim everyone's going to be on top of if he blows up to what I think he could.
So you're going to McKissick my Lacy pick out the door.
Pretty much.
I had to get that in there. And it's J.D. McKissick, just so you know, not DJ.
I think I have that right. I must have missed that up there.
Yeah, it's J.D. McKissick.
I do want to say, though, after I kind of ask you a question. I mean, do you think, because if Prosise plays in this game, they're not going to dress 4 running backs. I mean, is Rawls or Lacy going to be a healthy scratch again? And do they go with McKissick, Prosise, and one of them guys, or
I don't think so. I think the way that it's going to go out is I think Lacy and Rawls are going to split carries. I think Prosise is third down back. I can see maybe McKissick getting more wide receiver work, but I would definitely go forward kind of temper my expectations.
Yeah, and keep your eye on Procise because I think maybe they even give Procise another week to rest up, and they just throw McKissick in there.
Yeah, I mean McKissick's one of them guys to where we're gonna get a week early. I mean,
Yes.
I think a lot of people are gonna kind of pump the brakes on McKissick and say, okay,
Yes.
he had one good week, kind of like Benny Fowler week 1.
Kind of.
Let me see
He
a
only
little
had a
bit
couple
more.
carries, so it's still kind of unknown. I mean, you could jump on him this week while everyone else is going after the Aaron Jones and the Elijah McGuires.
You want to get a week ahead of the trend, and
Yes.
that's something that we've always
You
talked
can
about.
sneak in your pick, underneath.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and another trendy guy that I'm not a big fan this week, and kind of disappointed me last week because I thought with Carlos Hyde's injury, he's going to be a little bit better. This guy that I personally like, it's Matt Breida. Eventually I don't think he's going to take over the job, but he's going to get a lot more work. He's going to get involved in the passing game. They're going up against Indianapolis, 22nd against the run. And, I'm not a huge fan of Carlos Hyde. That injury's going to happen. He's going to be out for the year at some point. He's going to miss 2, 3, 4 weeks. And if you have a spot open on your bench that you could put Matt Breida into, get him on your roster. This is more like a stash that I would say than maybe a play this week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're down that low and you really need to throw a dart, then you could put Breida in. I wouldn't recommend it, though. I think there's better dart throws that you could play. But I think this is an opportunity, much like McKissick, to get them in your lineup and just hold on to them. Prevent the next guy from getting them. Because, hey, if you don't pick Breida up, this week and Hyde gets hurt, Breida's going to be the number one guy.
I think you can get these guys for $1, or you can wait until they blow up, and then you're paying $20, $30. If you're playing fab budget, or otherwise you're screwed because if you go by waiver order.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely, like I said, get ahead of the trend. This is a guy you can pick up Sunday morning. Let's say you're holding on to somebody just in case of injuries. Guy plays, you're like, okay, let me dump him. I mean, get guys in your lineup that have high upside. Not in your lineup, I'm sorry, on your bench. Go for them high upside guys. The guys, steal that handcuff a week before.
Yeah.
Don't wait. Try to get on the front end of the trend. And Breida's still arguably probably one of the best handcuffs that you could have. Because Carlos Hyde's injury history going forward, I believe, he's a guy that needs to be stashed. It's a little bit more clear than McKissick and Seattle's backfield. There's a lot of mouths to feed there. In San Francisco, it's Hyde, then it's Breida. And if Hyde goes down, Breida's gonna skyrocket up the boards. I mean, so that's just another thing I would say. Maybe going forward, get your hands on Breida now. I mean, probably want to play him, but
yeah, not a bad move. It's kind of the same thing I've been saying.
Yeah,
get him early now.
Jump ahead of the trend. I mean, that's definitely for sure.
Rush.
Another guy that I want to talk about, not so much running back. We're gonna transition away from that. Running back's pretty much set in stone this week. A lot of guys out on buys.
There's a lot of waiver. I mean, I know, just to name a few, if you guys want to real quick, Latavius Murray, with Dalvin Cook going down, Elijah McGuire, Wayne Gallman seems to be the guy in New York now.
Aaron
Jones. I don't know the situation right now with Jamal Williams. I think he's going to be out. Ty Montgomery's still up in the air. And then obviously the Seattle backfield with the Rawls, Lacey, or McKissick, whichever one.
Andre Ellington's out there too.
Andre Ellington, who had a big game.
Wendell Smallwood, I can see somebody jumping on.
Wendell Smallwood. I mean, there's lots of running backs. You need
Alex Collins.
Yes, Alex Collins. He's on our sleeper. Take a look at our sleeper list. We got 4 running backs. The top 4 sleeper running backs that you probably want to target.
Absolutely.
So they're out there. Look over your waiver list and make your moves. But you can't let everyone on your bench go for a bunch of high upside guys. So you got to choose 1 or 2. I like to choose the cheaper ones. Maybe it's a longer play because you don't really need them right now.
Yeah, well, like I said, you get ahead of the trend.
Yes.
So we're gonna stop beating that dead horse. We're gonna go right into wide receivers, and to be honest with you, when we first kind of came up with the guys that we want to talk about, we were going over our rankings. The guy you picked, I was kind of like, ugh, really? Why? Like, there's just nothing about him that I like. He's ranked number 9th on our rankings. I know you're a lot higher than him than I am. But to be honest with you, now that I kind of start thinking about it, man, and the reason why I'm thinking about it is somebody offered me him in a trade. It's actually really good. That's Brandon Cooks, and that's your boy.
I wouldn't call him a boy, but
He's your boy.
it's basically, look, I'm not confident in his week-to-week production. I'll just say that from the get-go.
Burned it last year.
Yeah, I mean, he does the same thing in New Orleans, and we said that coming into this season, he's going to be the same person going to New England. There's not much difference. He's going to blow up. He's going to disappear. It's who he is. I like to say if he didn't have a bad game last week, then he's probably going to have a good game this week.
He's standing in line with Des Bryant to get on that Travis Kelce roller coaster.
Yeah. I mean,
Basically.
it's going to be, a Thursday night game against the Bucs, whose secondary's beat up. Could easily see Tom Brady hitting him deep for 1 or 2 balls and just taking it to the house. I mean, like I said, I'm not huge on his week-to-week production. I think he's a good flyer. I mean, you're probably starting him regardless because he still might catch 1 or 2 balls and get you some points, but I mean, his upside is definitely there this week.
Yeah, I don't think that there's a week where you feel more comfortable starting Brandon Cooks than this week.
Yeah.
It kind of nerves me on Thursday night because anything can happen,
Yes.
but it's not a divisional matchup, so I think it's going to be more like a regular football game. I like the play. I don't think you go wrong with it.
I also like the fact that the Patriots lost last week, and they might come this week just to, like they did after week 1 against the Chiefs, just to prove, we are still the Patriots, like they like to do.
And I think it's a shootout. As we talked about earlier with Winston and all them guys. But I mean, I can honestly tell you, another guy that I really like this weekend, and I think this is more the fact that this offense is clicking on all cylinders. Aaron Rodgers has this team. It is a well-oiled machine, and they're just steamrolling everybody. It doesn't matter defense, not to mention the fact that they're going up against Dallas, who is horrible. I mean, let's face it, Dallas defense it's bad.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Jordan Nelson, minus that 1 week, scored 20 points every game that he's played. He got hurt against Atlanta. He's put up at least 20 points. I think he has a good shot at being the number 1 wide receiver this week. If I would say in daily, if you could go with an Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson stack, they're going to get you points. They're about the safest duo. I like Winston and Evans too, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd probably lean on the Rodgers-Jordy just because Rodgers he's on fire. I mean, they're just on fire. The run games, all the running backs are hurt. It's in Aaron Rodgers' hand. I mean, Jordy Nelson's the guy. Dallas 24th against opposing wide receivers. It's going to happen. It's going to be Jordy Nelson. I even think Randall Cobb, if he's healthy, I think he's a sneaky play this week as well.
I think Randall Cobb's playing. Yeah, I like that pick. Really do.
Yeah, I mean, Jordy Nelson ranked second. I mean, you're not sitting Jordy Nelson, but he's just one guy that I wanted to just say, he's probably the most consistent, wide receiver in fantasy football, and you just gotta keep rolling with him. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
And going a little bit further down, another guy, Jay. If I were to, ask you, hey, who's number 10th overall wide receivers? Would you know? Would you, if you had to take a guess?
If I had to take a guess, number 10.
I'm sure you know who it is, but
I would maybe guess. I don't know.
Chris Hogan.
Is it Chris Hogan?
Yep. To be honest with you, and we already said everything with Cooks. It's a good matchup. They're 32nd against wide receivers. He leads the team with targets for wide receivers, 26 targets. He's Brady's favorite option. I mean, let's be honest. He moved his locker closer with Brady as soon as Edelman went down.
Stalker.
A little bit, but hey, what can I say, man? I was
Creep.
hiding in the laundry room.
Yeah.
Seeing it, I was like, oh, they moved Hogan's locker.
Yeah, and let's not forget, Brady throws multiple touchdowns almost every game.
Yeah.
So it's very easy for Hogan and Cooks and Grant to all get theirs.
And Hogan's never going to get the double coverage. He's not going to get the name value that Cooks has or Gronk has. I mean, Hogan's a forgotten guy, and he's putting up points. His last 3 weeks, he has point totals of 18, 22, and 17.
That's good.
From a guy that you probably drafted in double-digit rounds.
Oh,
That is awesome production. And
draft him as a flex.
yeah, and maybe not even a bench player, but Chris Hogan should be started in 100% of leagues.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a league that he shouldn't be started in.
No, he definitely needs to be in your starting lineup.
Let me ask you this, and I know we were kind of talking about this earlier today, but would you start Chris Hogan over Alshon Jeffrey?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Jeffrey just hasn't had it this year.
No, I think you almost have to, and
Yeah.
Maniki, if you're watching, for my dad's sake, don't do it, but for J&J, you got to put Hogan in. I mean, that's simple. There's nothing else that you could say. But we're going to stick with the H last name. We're going to go to your guy, T.Y. Hilton, this week.
Yeah, and T.Y., Luck is still not playing this week, but I think he's starting to practice, which is fine. I think T.Y. is still going to have some decent games. We know Jacoby Brissett can throw the ball deep to him. He's playing San Francisco. I think that all the writing's on the wall right there. he's definitely also someone I am trying to target in trades before Luck comes back. Because once Luck comes back, and I'm hoping all this time that they've been giving him is so he's going to come back at 100%. He's not going to come back and have to work his way. And obviously going to have to work his timing and stuff back in, but...
I think when Luck comes back, what you're trying to say is T.Y. Hilton goes right back into being a top 10 wide receiver.
Yes.
I like Dante Moncrief a lot, too. He's another buy low guy that you could buy right now. I still have him on a couple of my leagues. That's Andrew Luck's number one red zone option, man. So, but no, definitely another guy, to buy low. And I think we've watched enough football to know kind of who the guys are that you need to kind of go out and target now. Yeah. I mean, it's the league's coming together. There's really not going to be too many more surprises here going forward. Maybe injuries or anything like that. But the picture's starting to be painted.
I mean, T.Y. could very easily be on someone's team that's 1-3 or 0-4, given probably where they drafted him. That guy could be ready to move on. He might need somebody that can perform for him now, not in 2 weeks. You go and make him an offer, toss him an Adam Thielen or somebody similar like that, Martavis Bryant. And I mean, you guys yourself, I think a pretty fair trade. Randall Cobb, I don't know.
Let me ask you this and just kind of spin it. Let's say you had Brandon Cooks.
Mm-hmm.
Would you trade Cooks for T.Y. Hilton?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely?
Yeah.
Right now? Or would you wait till after this week when Cooks blows it up?
I think they're both going to have good weeks. I do it right now. So, yeah, I think that's a solid trade.
Do you have Cooks anywhere?
I do not. I don't have Cooks or Hilton anywhere.
I don't think I do either.
No, sir.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would hang on to Cooks. I just don't know with Andrew Luck coming back, what's going to happen. But let's keep the ball rolling here. And man, I know we talked about him earlier, but we want to get a little bit more in depth. And the fact that he fell down to our 24th ranked wide receiver. I mean, I don't know if there's a more butthurt guy about this than me. The only thing that would make this any worse is if you would have traded him to me in Dynasty for what I offered you.
Yeah.
And who was it, Jay? I don't know how to say his name.
Amari Cooper.
And I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to duck out of the shot here. Let Jay take it. He's horrible.
Yeah, it's Carr's out. He's obviously having the trouble catching the ball.
EJ Manuel.
He's not accurate. He looked pretty decent.
Dude, it's EJ Manuel.
But, you saw what he did at the end of the game to give it away. And, really, the way Cooper got jumped over by that defensive back last week was just horrendous. He's got 6 inches on this defensive back, and he just went right over his head and caught the ball out of his hands.
Cooper would have dropped it anyways.
Yeah. But, and given his track record, Cooper will probably go on and blow up this week with EJ at quarterback and just screw everybody if you benched him. But,
Do you start Amari Cooper this week?
Yeah, I think you have to.
Would you start Chris Hogan over Amari Cooper?
Man, that's tough.
I would.
I don't think so. I just don't see how you can, man. You got to start your studs still.
I do apologize about that. Camera totally battery died. Somebody forgot to charge it. But anyway, so we're back up and running. So we're gonna continue with the Amari Cooper conversation. You were saying that we got to start. You still got to start your studs. Even though I'm a little bit more gun shy, and I've been very vocal with how I don't like Amari Cooper. He's bugging me. He literally is horrible. Horrible.
Yeah, like I said, I get it. If you don't want to play him, then don't play him. But personally, I think you still should. But I'm not gonna blame you if you don't want to.
I think I would start Robbie Anderson over Amari Cooper.
I wouldn't go that far.
Absolutely. He's been better the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
EJ Manuel coming in. There's a lot not to like about Amari Cooper. There's a lot actually to like about Robbie Anderson. He's the deep team or the deep guy on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Leads the team in targets. Leads the team in yards. He's got the highest upside for wide receivers.
And the team, you mean the Jets?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Actually, not that bad.
Just make sure we're talking about the same team.
Yeah, New York Jets. And I don't know. I think Robbie Anderson, he has a safer floor than Amari Cooper. And God, who would ever thought that would ever be coming out of my mouth?
No, and I get it. I do. Like I said, though, it's not overreact quite yet, but I do get I guess, I get the criticism.
We
But
we could work out a trade right now live on the air. I got Amari Cooper in the standard scoring league. You want to shoot me an offer? I mean, would you be willing to buy low on Amari Cooper? I mean,
yeah, I think you can if you're able to actually get him for low. Why not?
I don't like Amari Cooper. He really broke my heart. I mean, I've been in relationships that I've left and not felt this heartbroken over that I do with Amari Cooper.
Sorry you feel that way. Yeah.
Why doesn't he love me, Jay? Why don't he
Because
love
he
me?
doesn't even know who you are.
Probably. If he's watching this show, he's definitely not gonna like me. So, but we're gonna. I'm gonna hop on a roller coaster. You know what roller coaster we're talking about?
Yes.
The Travis Kelce.
The
roller
arms
coaster.
up roller coaster.
Yep, the arms up for Travis Kelce. Got in the end zone last week. And does he come back down this week? Yes or no?
I don't know. He just looked so involved last week. I don't know why they don't do that every week.
To be perfectly honest with you, Houston's given up the eighth most yards to opposing tight ends. Travis Kelce, I think, is going to stay up. Alex Smith, I think they're going to have a good week. I think it's going to be a little bit of a higher scoring game. I think Travis Kelce has the safest floor out of any tight end in the class. You know, he's had a couple clunkers, but that's going to happen. I think this week he's a guaranteed 15 points. And, you know, he's ranked accordingly. I think he's, you know, should be right behind Zach Ertz and Rob Gronkowski. And I don't think it's far-fetched to say that.
No, I don't think so either.
One guy that I'm kind of surprised at with our rankings, Charles Clay sneaking into the 4 spot.
Yes, and I don't know why you're surprised considering he's the number 4 tight end coming into this week. So I think we kind of right in there.
Maybe I just don't like the Buffalo Bills.
It's the Bills, man. It really is, and it's kind of a dumb thing to say, but the number 1 receiving target on that team, and they're targeting him deep, they're hitting him short. They're using him like an all-around wide receiver, and with Jordan Matthews out for up to at least a month, I think. He's just gonna get more usage. It could rise. They could start using him in more plays. It's crazy how they're almost force feeding him the ball. What's even crazier though is his run after catch ability. He's making a lot of extra yardage on his own. He's actually capitalizing on these opportunities they're giving him. It's kind of good to see, that he was able to come back from a bad year last year, and they actually said this offseason they want to make a point to get him the ball.
Well, they got nobody else. They have no wide receivers. Zay Jones can't hold on to a ball.
Yeah.
And who's the other one? Andre Holmes?
Yeah. Andre Holmes, he's got a few touchdowns.
I guess this is the craziest thing, with the Bills wide receiving core. I know they called you last week Tuesday to see if you wanted to come out and run some routes. I know you told them that your hammies were kind of you need a little bit of work, you need an extra week. When are you signing with them?
Yeah, well, what happened was I was put on the practice squad until I could figure out my big toe. I got a big toe issue right now. So.
Yeah, a little bit of a hangnail there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No,
if that tells you anything, dude's got no athletic ability whatsoever.
I actually do, but...
Nah, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
And
But you heard it here first. Jason's gonna sign with Buffalo Bills. He's gonna be running 9 routes all up and down the Cincinnati Bengals defense. Just who knows? It's not gonna get any.
It'll be like Waterboy out there.
Except he was a linebacker, but
same difference.
oh no! Hey, it is what it is. Best of luck there to you on your adventure here with the Bills. But I'm gonna go to a tight end who's gonna catch more balls than you are this week. Well, I don't know. That's Zach Miller. Zach Miller's going up against the Minnesota Vikings, which are the 24th ranked. They're 24th ranked against opposing tight ends. He's got a rookie quarterback this week. They're going to feed Zach Miller the ball. I think he's a safe spot for about 5, 6, 7 catches. And the Vikings have the corners. I think that Zach Miller's going to be a sneaky play. I know I'm really high on him. I even picked him up in a standard league this week to play because I had Jordan Reed on a bye and Tyler Eifert's out. So I think Zach Miller's going to get a lot of love. He makes 9 on our rankings. But I mean, I think you could do worse than him, especially Monday night. I like Monday night guys. Just kind of gives me a hope to kind of go, and it's just something to kind of watch for as well. And you just don't know what Trubisky's gonna do.
It is kind of nice having that added element on Monday. I mean, just use last. I think we just talked about not too long ago. Actually, is going into this Monday, I was up by 30 points against somebody, and they had Travis Kelce left, and I mean, I was sitting there, I was crapping my pants after the first quarter.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, this might happen. I mean, he scored 27 points. He came within 3 points, and I was, holy smokes.
Yeah, that's not good.
Catching balls left and right.
Another guy who had a pretty good week last week was, but I'm never gonna live that one down, man. I can tell you that. But it's your boy Tyler Croft. He made our sleepers list last week. He's gonna make it again this week, and I mean, Andy Dalton liked him in the red zone.
Yeah, and it's basically he's not some sort of special talent. He's not nobody that's gonna really razzle dazzle you on the tape. But I mean, they're plugging him into Eifert's position, and they're giving him the same usage as Eifert.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're targeting him in the red zone and maybe a couple short intermediate passes here and there. And as long as he continues to catch the balls thrown at him, he's gonna be fine.
Another guy that's getting targets in the red zone that I know you kind of like this week, who's kind of been up and down, hit and miss, is Hunter Henry.
Yeah, I mean, didn't necessarily highlight him because I like him. I think it was more of a be careful. I mean, because obviously he's gone 2 games with no catches, and he's had 2 games where he's gotten touchdowns. I mean, it's the roller coaster ride. I guess it's the tight end position really.
Him and Kelce.
Him, I mean, yeah, most tight ends, but I mean, it's tough, man. I mean,
it's really got to edge yourself. Does Hunter Henry get in the end zone this week? And to be honest with you, I think Tyler Croft's a better play than Hunter Henry this week, and I know that's where we were going with this.
Yes.
It's not always about name value. I think it's more situation when it comes to tight end.
Yeah, and it's volume and usage. And Hunter Henry, I mean, you can't count on week to week. How do you put a guy in not knowing if he's going to get a point?
Yeah.
I mean,
and he's not getting that many targets. I think 3 targets last week, I believe.
And it happens at the tight end position. Sometimes you guys just pulls a goose egg, but you don't go in there thinking that it's a possibility, or you don't want to. And with Hunter Henry at this point, I think you got to think it's a possibility.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to go with another guy. I don't think he's a good play this week, and to be honest with you, it's really tough to stash a tight end. But I think Gerald Everett. I think with the tough defensive schedules that the Rams are coming up to, I can see Everett getting some gravy. I don't think Tyler Bigsby's the guy. Everett's definitely the best pass catching tight end that they have there. And I can see him getting a little bit more involved over the offense. So just kind of guy to stash and look forward, or going forward to kind of look to add to your team. And I mean, you could do a lot worse than him. And I think it's something that you should stash in deeper leagues. I mean, if you're in a 10-team league, don't even put him on your roster. Yeah. But at least kind of put him on the watch list. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, like you said, that Rams offense has been going on all cylinders so far this year. So you could definitely see an opportunity for him to step in and start making some plays.
Absolutely. But I'll tell you what, Jason, I got a bone to pick with you here that I'm not too happy about. I was sitting at work today. On break, so I don't get in trouble. But I went to look to see the waiver wire, who everybody got picked up. I was all excited. I couldn't wait. There's my real sleeper team that I think was going to cinch my championship for me in Dynasty, and you beat me to them. And I wasn't happy about it because I know me and you were in a lot of leagues together, and I know that you seen me pick them up, and you were probably in your head thinking, wow, why is Joey picking up this team in every league? You know what? And then you were like, you know what? I'm going to get them in Dynasty once you looked up and noticed that they were the number 1 ranked defense this year.
I mean, that's not how it went down.
That's exactly how it went down. You were spiteful. You were like, you know what? Screw Joey. I know he's trying to pick him up.
But the Detroit Lions are the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL right now for fantasy purposes.
And they're doing it against good offenses.
They are. I mean, nothing is going to blow you away offenses, but they're doing it against decent offenses, man. They're scoring double-digit points. They're scoring touchdowns in every single game except 1. I mean, they're good.
Let me put it like this, guys. We're going to give you a little bit behind-the-scenes access right now. What me and Jason do, we sit down and we go over positions. We highlight who we want to talk about, positives, negatives, the whole nine, and we kind of come up with a consensus of the show. And I can honestly tell you that when we sit down, there's usually a guy that Jason's really excited about that he can't wait to talk about. And me as well, but more so Jason. This week was the Detroit Lions defense, and I was not happy because it came out of his mouth before I even brought up the fact that he stole him from me, and I was not happy about it. So he not only stole him in my Dynasty League, he stole him on this segment. So screw you, Jason. I hope the Lions have a horrible week. I hope you lose every single one of your matchups, even though
That's not nice.
It's very not nice, but neither was stealing my guy when you knew it was my guy because I had him in 3 other leagues.
It's not a guy, it's a team.
It's a guy when it comes to fantasy purposes. Next thing you know, you're going to take Will Lutz on me.
Solid pick. Dropped him, I'm going to go check him out.
Yeah, listen, you stay out that waiver wire. It's going to take me to my defensive stream of the week. That is the Baltimore Ravens going up against E.J. Manuel. That's all that I have to say. It's been a great show. No. But E.J. Manuel's horrible. I mean, he is that bad of a quarterback. I mean, maybe he washed the Buffalo Bill off of him, and he's going to be a different guy. But
it's funny you say that, man, because when he went in, and I'm sitting there, I'm watching the game, and I'm like, man, he is going to E.J. Manuel this game and throw an interception. And he actually did it at first. He drove down, he threw that touchdown pass to Cook that he dropped in the end zone. I think they ended up kicking a field goal, and then he got the ball back, and they're driving down again, and sure as shit, E.J. Manuel's it, and just throws an interception to throw the game away.
The only thing that I can say on E.J. Manuel is I watched the game where the Bills played the Jaguars in London, and it was like the best of E.J. Manuel and the worst in one game. It's like he was the worst quarterback that I've ever seen.
Fumbled the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, and then he came back and he was like phenomenal. And like, don't get me wrong, living in Buffalo, New York, Bills fans are confused enough. I mean, they really don't know what to do with their team. They love their team. They're probably the best fans in the NFL.
This is true.
But they're so confused and they don't know what to do. And to be honest with you, E.J. Manuel, man, it was kind of like they were like, if you were looking on Facebook, before halftime, it was like, this guy's horrible. Get him out of here. Where's Alex Van Pelt? Bring him back. Whatever. Doug Flutie, right out of retirement. Just put a helmet on Jim Kelly. And then afterwards, they're like, E.J. Manuel's not that bad. Like, he actually did pretty good. Long story short, I think the Baltimore Ravens are a pretty safe play.
Yeah.
I like the Minnesota Vikings this week, too, going against the rookie quarterback. But, God, I mean, if you're telling me E.J. Manuel, I mean, I'd probably jump on Alabama's defense going against E.J. So, definitely here going forward. I can tell you guys, we wish you the best of luck on your Week 5 matchups here. If you got any questions, feel free to hit us up on Facebook, J&J Fantasy Flyers, or on Twitter.
At Fantasy Flyers.
Also, subscribe to our YouTube page. You'll be the first ones to know our rankings, anything like that. Feel free to leave comments. I know you guys kind of beat us up on our premium plays of the week. I can honestly tell you from both of us, we're not too pleased with it. I know for my premium plays of the week, I'm a week late. So if that means anything...
We're nailing our sleepers, our premium play of the week. We're trying. We are. It's not one at a time, man.
When we do our premium play of the weeks, we are trying to pick guys that most don't have in their lineups, and it's one guy that you can kind of put in. We're going to stay away from the obvious names.
It might be, your borderline flex guy, or your number 2 running back, your number 3 receiver, somebody you might have a lineup question about. Who do I play? Our goal is to give you that guy. This is the guy you want if you got him. Get him in. But you can check out our website too, jnjfantasyflyers.com. We have all of our content on there, our premium plays of the weeks, our rankings, our sleepers.
It's mobile friendly too. I mean, everybody, with their phones nowadays. I mean, it takes 2 seconds. You can download our PDF. You can even download our podcast on there. You can listen to what we have to say.
The audio version podcast is on there, so you don't have to look at his ugly mug all the time.
Listen.
You can carry it around in your pocket. Listen to this sweet voice.
All that I can tell you guys is that Jason has the face for radio. I mean, he honestly does. It's a radio face if I've ever seen one. Thanks. So download the podcast version. I'm sure you don't want to look at us too long. Your eyes might hurt or kind of stuff like that. But hey, we appreciate the love. Feel free to check us out anytime. Once again, I'm Joey from J&J Fantasy Flyers.
I'm Jason. We're helping you soar above the competition.
Good luck on your Week 5 matchups.